Hello, everyone. This is the Paint the Town Red podcast. My name is Chance Bowen, and today we have some news for you, per usual. A massive Russian air assault struck Kiev, killing 23 people, including 4 of them being children, injuring 63 others. The blast damaged major infrastructure, including EU mission headquarters and the British Council. In retaliation, Ukraine launched attacks on a Russian naval vessel near the Donbu, a missile carrier in the Sea of the Azov, and ignited large fires at refineries in, God, I hate all these Russian names. I don't even know. Skaradanda and Samara. The conflict continues to intensify despite global calls for de-escalation. I follow some geopolitical people, and they're pretty much like, look, Russia is taking Ukraine. Like it's almost over. Ukrainians are polling that they do not want to fight anymore. They're having problems getting military people, and Zelensky doesn't want to make any negotiations. He doesn't want to give up any of the land, so then he'll be doomed. And another example of a Jewish leader ruining his country, ruining our country, ruining their country, right? Terrible. It's sad, really. All for money. What does the Bible say? The love of money is the root of all evil. To me, this is an example of that. The people in the media in the West will say, no, this is an example of a dictatorship trying to conquer new land. But also, the majority of people who fled Ukraine to avoid the war of big bad Russia went towards the bullets back to Russia. The majority of them. Oh, you didn't mention that, did you? Number 2, the U.S. market dips as inflation holds and tariff crackdowns hits import stocks dipped sharply. They close out the month. Nvidia, Broadcom, and Oracle dropped over 3%, while Dell sank more than 10%, following a weak AI-related earnings. July inflation held at 2.6 over the year, sparking speculation of a potential Federal Reserve rate cut. Meanwhile, the U.S. officially revoked the de minimis rule, duty-free imports under $800, putting added pressure on Chinese exports and intensifying the tariff war. Well, all that is really boring. So for this Friday, Fun Friday, we're going to talk about something that I love talking about, and a lot of the people who follow the channel love talking about, and that is the topic of race. Now, let's talk about race. You know, that topic every political personality wants you to avoid, unless, of course, you're a leftist Democrat and you pretty much disparage the white race. Now, you're allowed to do that all day long, and actually, that's what their whole party's about. So, then who is the pro-white political pundit on our side? Who is our champion? Is it Charlie Kirk? He can't even admit that America is a white nation. He is not my champion. I usually make it a rule. I don't listen to anyone that would not survive in the real world without the pleasures of living in the comforts of the first world country of the West. Charlie Kirk would not survive. It's easy to see by his appearance. He looks weak. On the left, you've got Bill Maher, a Jewish beta who occasionally agrees with Trump and the Republicans, so you respect him because he's not a crazy liberal, but he is weak. Even women could take him out at any moment, and yet you love him and soak up every word he says. But what I'm asking is where did it first go wrong? Why are we so unwilling? Why are there no political people hardly that are standing up for the white race, the white group of people who founded this nation? And why is our birth rate declining and we're continually losing so badly? When will the warriors of the nation stand up and remind the intellectuals that they are nothing without the men who protect them? The beginning of the race-blind society that has no identity has a starting point, and many argue when it was. We're going to talk about one of them, perhaps one of the beginnings of this, and it's particularly interesting to me. Imagine Europe, a place that was shattered by war and nationalism and prejudice. Into that maelstrom steps in a man with a radical vision, political unity, cultural exchange, and a world without racial or class divisions. Does that sound familiar? Meet Richard von Klondov Clargery. I don't even know if I got that right either, and I don't really care. An aristocrat of an Austrian and Japanese descent, born in 1894, and the founder of the Pan-European movement, a prosecutor to would become the European Union, a predecessor. Sorry, not a prosecutor, a predecessor. He's what's known as the father of the European Union, the forgotten father. Why would they forget him if his ideas are so good? His goal: prevent another continental catastrophe. Can't talk today. I just can't talk. Catastrophe by forging bonds across nations, intellectuals, and faiths. Even Adolf Hitler loathed him, calling his ideas that of rootless, cosmopolitan bastard. In his 1925 philosophical work, Practical Idealism, but Kalergi looked ahead, dreaming of a future freed from the structures of race and class. He penned, "The man of the future will be of mixed race." Wow, isn't that so great? Everybody loves that, right? Today's races and classes will gradually disappear, owing to the vanishing of space, time, and prejudice. These are his own words. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future will replace the diversity of the peoples with a diversity of individuals. Calgary's border vision was inclusive. He championed tolerance, peace, and the dismantling of anti-Semitism. It's all starting to sound familiar, right? He organized congresses to attend by thinkers like Einstein, Freud, and Mann, resisting both Nazism and radical hatred. He even co-authored the pamphlet against the phrase Jewish parasite with Reich Mann and other anti-Nazi writers, explicitly rejecting hateful language. Now, that all sounds good, right? He sounds like a hero, and to the mainstream person, even the Republican, the Trump supporters that are listening to this, at this point, they still are going, well, what's the problem? Well, yeah, we want to mix. We want to mix with these other people. What's the problem? It's not about race. I'm race blind. Race doesn't exist. Meanwhile, our population declines into nothing. This is where it gets a little weird. He is the founder of the European Union. He was funded largely in part by the Rothschilds. I think maybe you've heard of them. He also said, and I quote, "The main representatives of the corrupt as well as the upright brain autocracy of capitalism, journalism, and the literate are Jews. The superiority of their spirit predestines them to become a main factor of the future nobility. Europe, against its own will, refined and educate this people into a future leader nation." So it's okay for the Jewish people to mention the words of supremacy and them being of the nobility and having their own Jewish state of Israel. But white people are not allowed to have their own state. It's not allowed. America is not a white nation. Europe is not a white continent, even though we know it is and they are. And now these same people who funded him own everything. They own our country. They own us everywhere. And if you haven't seen that yet, you might be race blind or just stupid. They are deliberately trying to erase us off the face of the planet. And you sit there and you're laughing at Charlie Kirk's jokes. Disgusting. This is the Paint the Town Red podcast. We hope you guys have a wonderful week.